evening, good evening, good evening. This is your motivation, and I am and forever will be your host, Deborah Gaar Davis. As always, I give praise and honor to the Most High for allowing me the opportunity to come and sit before you and to bring you motivation and empowerment and just ignite your spirit to just want to move forward in what God has for you as well as for myself. Because when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself as well. I don't know about you, but I need motivating, and I need motivating just about each and every day because we know that we fight an adversary that will not stop, but we are standing strong. I want to, as always, thank you. I want to thank our segment sponsor, and I want to also inspire you to just move forward in what God has for you in your life right here, right now, today. Listen, we want to move forward in what we have been talking about at the beginning of the year. As you know, we have gone through a wonderful, wonderful messages to inspire us to walk in our purpose, to fight through the struggle. And we know that right now, right here, we have learned that the purpose is us and it is within us. So now that we have that established, now that we know exactly what we're supposed to do, where we're supposed to be, and being obedient to what God has for us in our life, we want to now go into April. My God, our theme for the month is faith and focus. And tonight we are going to talk about faith filled focus. So let's do this. If you remember, everybody has learned this, everybody knows that Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But let us also throw in Colossians 3:2 to set your mind on things above and not on things of the earth. Now, as always, let me remind you that I am not the bishop. And I am not going to be able to sit here and say that I'm going to be able to recognize each and every person that comes online. However, I will do my best at trying to do this. It seems to make people real, real happy. So guess what? We want to just let you know that I see you and I thank God for you. And so we want to make sure that as we move from knowing and learning our purpose and realizing that our obedience in what we do regarding our purpose is very, very important so that we can fulfill what God has for us. And so that quarter is done. Now we are transitioning and we are talking beyond where we wrote the vision. We are moving towards the vision. We are knowing and doing purpose, and we are being obedient, and we are fighting through these struggles. So at this point, our goals have either gained traction or they have lost momentum. Vision boards are either inspiring us or they are just collecting dust. And if we are honest, distractions have been competing heavily for our attention. Because you know what? We live in a culture that earns a profit from us being distracted. We tap on reels, we listen to lives, we go to others' websites, we read notifications, we listen to opinions, whether good or bad news. We look at social comparisons. That's like those things that say, oh, you have so many followers and so many likes. We want to go beyond that and look at uh, getting rid of internal doubt. All of us are pulling and focusing like children tugging the sleeves of our parents. And here's what many don't realize. Whatever has your focus will eventually shape your faith. Remember, faith and focus are inseparable. And your focus determines your direction. And your direction determines your destiny. Remember, I stated that Hebrews 11:1 says, and it reminds us that faith gives substance to what we hope for. But hope without focus actually becomes a fantasy. I don't know about you, but when I said that and saw that, I said, "Oh, that's like what Biggie Small used to say. It was all a dream." And so here we are. Faith requires us to have a vision. I, we got to have a vision or we're not going to go anywhere. Thank you for being here, Pastor Davis. Sister Romillard, I'm glad to see you here. Faith requires clarity, and faith requires a disciplined attention. We got to move like a well-trained soldier. We have to be disciplined in what we're trying to reach. Our faith requires us to stay always ready, because there's always that little piece of doubt that can come in and change our whole mindset. We don't have time for that. We have come too far to say that it cannot be done when we know that it can. Colossians 3 and 2 instructs us to set our minds. That word set actually implies intentional positioning. Good evening, Minister Kiki. Focus is not accidental, focus is chosen. What do you mean? Remember, we can sit down and we can say, "Oh, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to read this book," and we start reading and then our mind just goes somewhere else. We lose focus so quickly. We're not disciplined enough to just stay where we need to be. So we want to talk this month in regards to about having that faith. And we are talking about having a faith-filled focus, that kind of focus that is anchored in our belief. It is fueled by our trust in the master, and it is guarded by discipline. Intentional motivation means we don't just feel inspired, we walk away equipped. Because I don't know about you, but there is validity in that song that I am a soldier in the army of the Lord. He gives us that assurance. He gives us what we need, all of our artillery. That's why I'm saying we need to be well prepared, well equipped, and ready for action when that enemy comes our way to break our faith and redirect our focus on the things that it should not be. We need to make sure that it directs and to us an internal narrative. We got to keep our mind going on what our goal is. What you focus on will expand your mind. Remember, the brain is strengthened by whatever neural pathways are repeatedly active. In simple terms, let me say it like this: what you consistently think about becomes stronger in your thinking. This is what I mean. If you focus on problems, then your anxiety is going to increase. If you focus on the lack of having something, then scarcity thinking will grow. You'll never have anything. If you focus on the offenses that have happened to you, the lies, the betrayals, the whatever has hurt you, resentment within inside of your spirit is going to deepen. And if you focus on fear, then paralysis becomes stronger. Because remember, if you fear something, you're not going to move. You're going to be like a deer in the headlights. You cannot go anywhere. So we want to flip that. We want to now focus on the possibilities, because possibility actually is a creativity increaser. We want to focus on solutions, which grows our confidence. We want to focus on being grateful, having gratitude, the resilience of that. That is our adaptability, which strengthens. And faith, courage, when we have it, will rise. Faith filled focus actually means you train your mind to align with what you believe, not just what you see. And many people say, "Oh, they have faith," but their focus is consumed by worst case scenarios. That internal conflict actually creates stress, and then you become double minded. James says that a double minded person is unstable. Why? Because the mind is divided between belief and fear. And we have to fight that fear every day. We don't serve a God of fear. We do not. And so faith filled focus means that you got to interrupt all the negative that comes into your spirit. We have to challenge our catastrophic thinking. Do you not remember? We are our own worst enemy and we will actually hurt ourselves. We don't need anybody to hurt us. We will hurt ourselves because of our thinking. And we must refuse to rehearse defeat. I mean, so many people say, oh, I can't, I can't, I can't. Well, no, you sure can't. So a man is. I mean, he's going to think it, he's going to say it, he's going to believe it. That's what you believe. That's where your focus is. No, 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 no. We can do better than that. So instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? Ask yourself, what if God works it out? What if, instead of saying, oh, this is too much, then say, you know what? I am actually equipped for this. Your brain follows repetition. So repeat faith on a constant basis. Faith filled focus is mental stewardship. It is more than just being a steward over money. It is anything that you have a rule over. Listen, other than the Most High, what you rule, no one can steward you. You are your own steward of self, your thoughts, all of the worries, your happiness, your determination, etc., etc., etc. It's all about you and what you want to steward in self. All of that self-doubt. It's time out. We should all be sick and tired of talking about what we cannot do. We should all be sick and tired of talking about what we cannot endure, because I bet you 10 to 1. Some of us have been through hell and back, but we are still here. Faith and the courage to fight. Faith and the courage to move forward. Peter walked on water. And as long as he was focused and remained looking at Jesus, he was all right. But the moment he shifted his focus to the wind and the waves, he began to sink. The storm didn't change. The environment around him didn't change. It was his focus. And he took his eyes off of the one and only that was getting him through. I'm going to drop the mic on that and let you sit on that one for a minute. You see, because the power of our focus is what gets us through it. Whew, marinate, people, marinate on those words right there. That storm may not have immediately stopped. The pressure may not have instantly lifted from you. And the challenge may not have disappeared overnight. But if your focus stays faith anchored, you won't drown in what surrounded you. Colossians 3:2 simply states, set your mind on things above. That doesn't mean ignore reality. No, it does not. But it means interpret reality through faith. Faith-filled focus spiritually means that you pray before you panic. You worship before you worry. You declare before you doubt, and you trust before you retreat. When your focus is faith-filled, delay doesn't discourage you. Opposition doesn't intimidate you. Silence doesn't shake you, because you understand something deeper. God is working even when you cannot see him working. Faith is not a denial. Faith is getting you aligned. It aligns your perspective with God's promises rather than your present pressure. Come on now. I know that we have been through so much, some of us, that we can definitely say, what I'm going through now is nothing like where I've come from. So you've seen faith in action in you, in your life. So we cannot just let that go and say, no, it will not happen. No, we have to keep pressing. We have to keep pushing, because if he did it before, he'll do it again. And so we need to guard our focus each and every day. There's always something or someone that's going to try to distract you and discourage you. And you got to be careful of those haters, because they're going to put words in your head to make you doubt who you are and what you know you can do. And we're not even taking that today, because we're beyond that. We are bigger than that. We are more than that. We know who we are. I don't need you to explain to me who I am. God has told me who I am. God has made me who I am. I know what he has equipped me with. This is what we need to say. We need to confirm that we understand what God has put in our lives. Faith-filled focus requires a daily discipline. Here is your intention for the month of April. We're going to start our day with a direction. Before we check anything in our lives, before we pick up that phone, we're going to focus on what we need to do. Before we start scrolling, we need to center ourselves. We need to have a ritual that gets us ready for action. Like I said, we are soldiers, baby, and we need to be ready. We need to be equipped. We have gone through a lot of training. Understand, what we've been through is training. And we are ready for battle each and every day. We should be ready. We got to be a well-oiled machine. We got to be equipped. We got to be in the right position, because every position is not for everybody, but we need to be in our position so we can move forward. First of all, we got to start creating some focused boundaries right here, right now. Not, listen, first, distractions. Focus. We need to focus. We need to get those boundaries, because let me say this: not every conversation deserves your energy. Does not. Not every opinion deserves your response. Sometimes you just need to keep your mouth shut. And not every opportunity deserves your yes. Point blank, period. You're not the one to put the okay on it. God is the one. A faith-filled focus sometimes means saying no so that you can say yes to your purpose. We need to recenter when we become distracted. You will have moments of doubt. You will have moments of frustration. You may even have emotional waves. But when you feel yourself drifting, we need to press pause and we need to reset. We need to focus. It's always something that's going to come up. I went through something yesterday for a split second. A split second. There was something asked of me, and I said, okay. I said, you know what? The devil is a lie, because I know where I can go get this. I know where I can do this, that, and the other. And baby, it was a done deal. No, 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 no. You're not going to trick me, because my God has given me the okay for what I'm doing at this time. No, 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 no. No, no, no. We're not going there. We're not going there. Focus. We have to recalibrate if we get distracted. Even if we drift 10 times a day, when you get to number 11, baby, you got to reel it in. You got to come back. You got to you got to refocus. That is faith-filled focus. What do you mean? It's just like when we say, oh, you know what? Let me go to bed. Oh, I didn't pray. You lay there and you begin to pray. Our Father, which art in heaven. All of a sudden, your mind starts going, did I turn this off? You know what? I don't know. What am I going to cook for tomorrow's dinner? That art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. It only takes a second. We all go through it. But we got to refocus. We've got to stay there. We have to be where we are. We need to be with him at all times. So remember, spiritually, your focus is going to determine whether you sink in the storms or you walk above the storm. Practically, your focus must be guarded daily through the discipline and with intention. We have to be on guard. April, this month is not just another month. This is a brand new quarter, and it is an opportunity to recalibrate our vision. We cannot control every outcome, but we can control our focus. And when we focus and it is filled with faith, with fear will lose its volume in our heads, doubt will lose the authority over our life, distraction will have no power over us, and you become steady, you become more confident, and you become more aligned. So we're going to shift from being scattered all over the place to being centered. Sometimes we can move a little too fast and we've got 50 million things going on at once. Sometimes we need to just step for a moment and we need to refocus. We need to look at what is important. We may have to realign how it is done, or should I say, prioritize it. What are those things that we can do very quickly and get it off of our list? We don't want too much going on up here because those thoughts keep coming because our to-do list is growing in our brain and we need to get some stuff out. We need to get some stuff down. That's why they tell you to write it. Write it out. Make it plain. Get it out of here so you can see it. But leave room up here for your faith to build in your mind, the I can spirit, that he will spirit. I know he can, I know he will, he's done it before, spirit. We need to go and do that sometimes. So we need to stop being distracted and we need to discipline ourselves. So we need to let faith fill our focus and let the focus in our lives strengthen our faith. Because when your mind is set and your heart is anchored, nothing can derail your destiny. We have got to be focused, faith filled, focused. That's just like Jesus. Jesus was very focused and he had a lot of faith because his faith was in the fact that he was there to complete a job and walk in the purpose that was given to him, and he was focused to get it done no matter how many distractions and delayed between the man excuse me, in the tombs, between going to take care of Lazarus for Mary and Martha, before the man at the pool of Bethesda hit all these distractions, but he kept it moving. He stayed focused on what his purpose and his task was. And this is what we need to be just as focused and walk in that faith. So this is going to be some intentional motivation. We are going to move towards having our faith and focus together because we need to have that mental clarity and we need to have that spiritual alignment. So this is faith-filled focus. Let us walk into it. I thank God for this message and I hope that somebody took something away that helped them over a hump right now in their life, that there's something going on that they just needed to little bit of reminder that they are not doing this alone, that all of us are going through being deep focused, and all of us every now and then have just a little bit of doubt, but praise God, we know the master and we know that he can and he will, and we just sometimes just need to be reminded that we can do this. We are that little train that can. And it says it all. I know I can. I know I can. Oh, yes, I can. And we are going to stay focused on him. So I thank God for you. Hopefully, you get used to this 6 o'clock hour. Just trying to make everybody be able to come in and enjoy this as they move towards their Wednesday night service at 7 o'clock at their own churches. And we appreciate each and every one of you for joining in. I thank God for you. And always remember, I need you to stay driven, stay focused, and stay true to yourself. And remember, God loves you. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Be blessed.